First of all, I want to thank everybody here tonight.
Senator Cory Booker speaking live from Dallas.
At airports across the United States of America, we are showing what America truly looks like. What's going on right now, the executive order that was issued yesterday, I am telling you right now, that is not just a violation of our Constitution. That executive order is not just a violation of our laws. That executive order is a violation of the spirit and the soul of the American public. We have come too far as a nation, and the rights that we stand for, the rights of religious freedom, the rights that we have fought for, civil rights, the rights that we have fought for that are American rights. What is going on right now,
Senator Cory Booker speaking live at Dallas
is a
area.
violation of those rights. And so before I get to the details of what I just found out, I want everyone here to know that there are people that will always try to trample our rights. And the point I must make is that we all have to decide as an American public, will we stand idly by while people... Hell no! Or will we stand up and resist? I am so proud of my country right now, not because of what the president has done. I am proud because I know this truth. I'm here and alive because of this truth. And that truth is no matter what the White House is doing, always the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And so now listen, we have an incredible group of volunteer activist lawyers all around the country right now. Who are fighting through the judicial branch, a co-equal branch of the government, and are fighting right now to make sure, whether it's in New York City or here in the state of Virginia, to make sure that justice prevails. Here in my hand is one of the temporary restraining orders that right now, very simple in plain English, says that detainees here should be allowed to have, legal permanent residents should be allowed to have access to lawyers.
Let them see the law!
It also says that respondents are forbidden from removing petitioners' lawful permanent residence at Dulles International Airport. I am now of the belief that though this was issued by the judicial branch, that it was violated tonight. And so one of the things I will be doing is fighting to make sure that the executive branch abides by the law as it was issued in this state and around the nation. This will be an ongoing battle. This is not a one-night thing. This is not a one-day thing. I am telling you right now what we are up against, what we've seen in the first 8 days of the Trump administration, is that this is going to be a long, arduous, and tough fight. And let me tell you right now, we have to be determined to continue the fight. I've been told now that the last of the people being detained will be released in the coming moments. That is in part, I am telling you right now, that is in part a testimony to you all standing here.
That's right.
We know that the enemy,
right?
that the enemy and the opposite of love is not hate, it is silence.
That's right.
Yes.
I got it.
The opposite of justice is not injustice, it is silence. Right now, the silence, the apathy cannot be allowed. We must stand as witness, we must stand as resistors, we must stand in opposition to what others are trying to do that violate the law, the Constitution, and our values.
Amen!
So let me just tell you, tonight I believe tonight that momentarily the last of the people at this airport will be released. But telling you right now that tomorrow more people will be trying to come into our country.
It'll be back.
And what frustrates me is they are being singled out now simply because of how they have decided to pray and their country of origin. That has to be unacceptable to every American, no matter what. But it is even worse than that. Many of the people seeking to come into our country now are people that put their lives on the line to help the American people. They are people that have served as translators and contractors. These are people that stood up for us. They showed the best of American values and a commitment to our ideals.
They had my back.
For us, they had our back. And for us to shut our doors on those people is not just a violative of the Constitution, of our values, of our ideals. It is a moral affront. And it is a crime and a sin. And so what I ask everybody to understand is that this is a fight that is going to have to continue. We cannot grow weary in this cause of justice.
Will you block his
We have to
nominees?
continue to fight against this administration and this executive order.
Will you block his
I want to
nominees?
say I will be blocking, I will be fighting against many of their nominees. Including an Attorney General nominee that I believe was involved in this tonight. So look, I want to say this right now, finally. Tonight is just one chapter in this longer story. I ask everybody here, to remain committed to this cause. We will! To remain committed to the ideals of our country. I have a deep faith in the people of this nation. We may be a country that has elected good people and bad people, but the people of America remain a good and loving people. Tonight you all have shown an activist love. Tonight you have shown that we are a beloved community. Tonight you have shown that it doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter who your parents were. It doesn't matter the country you might hail for. And it definitely does not matter how you choose to pray or if you choose to pray at all. We are Americans. It has been a long fight to make this country live up to its values, and we certainly aren't there yet. But tonight, let this be a moment that it resonates throughout the entire nation, coast to coast. That we will not allow oppression. We will not allow tyranny. We will not allow bigotry. We will not allow religious racism to exist in our nation. That we will be active agents against it. And so again, the final people, I have been told that the final people will be coming out tonight. And that the last flights coming here do not contain folks that will be detained. I will be heading north. It is good to be here with you all folks in Virginia.
Thank you.
I will be checking in at Newark Airport tomorrow. All of us have an obligation to stay in this fight. Again, please do not grow weary in a cause of justice. Please do not grow weary. This is going to be a long fight. It is going to be a tough fight. It's going to necessitate constant activist love. Our love cannot be a being word. It cannot be a feeling. It has to be seen in action. I want to end with this simple call to the conscience of our country. At the very end of the Declaration of Independence, at the very end of those words, and it's an imperfect document even though it's one of the greatest ones ever written. It refers to Native Americans as savages. It talks about men and not women. But the genius of our founders in those documents is they put forth ideals. We are the oldest constitutional democracy on the planet Earth. At the end of that document, they made a statement. That Declaration of Independence ended with this ideal. It was a declaration of interdependence, seen throughout cultures throughout the planet Earth, a simple understanding. Seen in that African phrase that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. At the end of that Declaration of Independence, it was one of the greatest testimonies to the ideals of love. This understanding that we were not meant to be a nation of tolerance, where we just tolerate our differences, like we're just stomaching someone's right to be different. We are a great country because we've never been called to tolerance. We've been called to love. And what does love do? Love sees the truth of who we are. It sees value and worth in every single person. Love is the most powerful transformative force on the planet Earth.
Yes, it is.
And when our founders wrote that Declaration of Independence, they ended with a testimony to that principle. When they said that if this country is going to work, if we are going to make it as a nation, we must make a commitment to each other that is unusual, a commitment to each other that's extraordinary. At the end of that document, it says clearly and plainly that we Americans must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We cannot let that ideal lose. We must pledge to each other, especially in times of injustice, especially in times of trial. We must pledge to each other that your suffering and your injustice
Senator
are
Cory
my
Booker
suffering
speaking from
and my
Dallas.
injustice. That if you experience bigotry and racism, it is an affront to my dignity and yours. If somebody assaults your religion, it casts a shadow over mine. If somebody attacks your dignity as a human being, it is an attack on all of our dignity. Tonight, I am proud of this great state of Virginia. Because the people here who came out at night, who've been standing here for hours, you all have shown your sacred honor. You all have pledged yourself to the cause of our country. And tonight, I tell you right now, feel good about yourself. What you're doing here, I'm telling you, people are hearing all over our nation, and there are people even abroad that began to doubt what we stand for, began to doubt that we lived up to our principles. You are challenging that doubt, and you are confronting that cynicism. But the one thing I want to let you know is the cause of our country. Every generation can't just luxuriate in the battles before us. We cannot just bathe ourselves in the glories that were earned by other generations. If we are to prove worthy of ideals of freedom and justice and liberty, then we have to earn them in our generation. My hope tonight is that everybody here and all those listening to your voices commit themselves. We clearly know what this administration stands for. 8 days. 8 days. And we've seen their executive orders. We've seen the rhetoric, the divisiveness, and the demeaning. And we see tonight what I believe is a clear violation of the Constitution. And so clearly tonight we have to commit ourselves to the longer fight. Clearly tonight we have to commit ourselves to the cause of our country. Clearly tonight we have to be determined to show this world what America is all about. They told me nothing, and it is unacceptable. I believe this is a constitutional crisis where the executive branch is not abiding by the law.